Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Let me ask you this, Sweeney. If you're Gene Smith, and this is kind of like your last hurrah as the athletic director at Ohio State, if you're Gene Smith, who is the first call that you make? Who are you going after before? We always Jay Wright, he's not coming back, right? Billy Donovan, he's not coming back. Brad Stevens, if he wasn't going to Indiana, he's not going to Ohio State, right? We can get that part of the conversation out of here. Of guys that are in that next tier, who's the first call that you make?
I think I would target Dusty May. And look, there's a lot of bigger names potentially out there, or more proven names at the highest level. But like, if I'm Ohio State, I want the guy who could be the next big thing, right? The guy who could be that next Nate Oates, the next mid-major to high-major jump guy. And I think the most obvious name in that group is Dusty. Obviously, the success to go to a Final Four, to keep this group together. I think if you give him the resources that this job will give him, he will get players at an elite level. Look, obviously, there will always be talk about Indiana for him. And we'll see if this movement, if this domino causes more action at Indiana, if this causes them to make a decision on what they want. Because look, if you're Indiana, you can't let Dusty go, right? Like if you believe that he's your guy long term, you can't let him take Ohio State and risk him doing it there instead of at your place. But I think if I'm Gene Smith, I'm Ross Bjork, that whole leadership team at Ohio State making this decision, I'd have a hard time skipping over Dusty.
Yeah. RC, who's the first call you make?
I agree. I thought Dusty would have been my call. He took my answer. I think it'll be Dusty, but I think that list is so long for him. I don't believe that he'll have a lot to spill over before he makes that decision. We joked about Sean, and I think I'd like to see if Sean was interested in that. Question I have for Sean would be, does he want to go back to that level from being in a place like back home at Xavier? And if he goes there, then our guy Chris Mack, I think he'd slide right in there and go to Xavier. So, you know what? I think it's Dusty. The question that I have, or the concern that I have with it, is that you can have all the wish lists you want. I think as these conversations are going on right now, how many guys that they're looking at are going to just level up and ante up and go back to the same school that they are now? That also happens every year. So, you're going to have a list of a couple of guys. I don't know if it's that job. It's not the job where you're going to say, oh man, I'm going to leave wherever I am if that team kind of, gives you an extension and offer you certain things. So we'll see. You got to be, as greater resources as they have there, you got to get the commitment, the financial commitment for which you're going to need from an NIL perspective, because of the expectations, it isn't just making the tournament there. They're expecting another level. It isn't just getting back to the tournament. Chris Holtman, did that. I know it's only been 2 years and he's already out of there. So it just seems like it's one of those jobs too that after so many years, they just kind of ready to move on from you. You can't stay too long. It doesn't seem like there's anybody's there that's been able to figure that out.
Yeah, I
the
think
one thing
that,
I would say, sorry, Rob.
Go
The
ahead.
one thing I would say is this: like, if you're at Xavier, can you really win a national championship, right? If you're at all these jobs, right, like these second tier jobs that maybe jump to Ohio State, if you believe you can win a championship, don't leave. But if you're unsure of that answer, and Ohio State's out there, I think it's really hard to say no to that opportunity, because I think you could absolutely win a national championship.
Sweeney, my only comment to that would be, it's like I'll go back to when we talked about this with Texas. It's a football school. We acting like there's natties in Ohio State for basketball. Ain't nobody thinking about winning no damn national championship. Like, that's not, like, let's cut that out. Like, because if national championships was the requirement or the expectations, then resources will go there. Their money is spent. The expectations for natties is on the football team. Cut that out. That's like Texas basketball. Your resources was put to football, and you expect that with football. But we can't just be like, oh, if you want to win a national championship, man, there ain't probably about a handful of schools that put resources to schools to win a national championship. You just want a guy to come there and turn shit to sugar and win a natty. Like, cut that out. I'm not saying it to you, but it's just like, come on, man. We're going to sit there and start saying now we want Ohio State to start winning national championship. Man, stop this. Cut that out.
I'm
Cut
not
it out.
saying it to you, Sweeney, but shut up, Sweeney. Just stop with that, Sweeney. I'm not saying it to you, Sweeney, but stop with that, Sweeney.
Sweeney,
No, I
no,
got
he's my guy. But I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'm only use that, Rob, because you remember when we was dealing with Texas a year ago. Everybody like, oh, it's the national championship. You just ran. What is Mata doing right now? I guess he can't coach. He just ran, and the same thing's going to happen to Holtman. He's going to go somewhere and get another job, and he's pretty damn good coach, man. I mean, it's a tough gig. It's a tough gig right now. Let's see if they commit the money to it.
RC, to your point, we're going to be previewing a top 5 showdown here in the 4th block of the show between UConn and Dan Hurley and Marquette. And who is Marquette's head coach? RC, is that Shaka Smart, the former Texas head coach? Yeah, I'm just saying. No, look, I think I think I'm going to go right down the middle on this, because I think that, one, you do have a higher ceiling at Ohio State because of the financial resources that exist there. But you also have to be a guy that is going to be able to get creative to drive that fan engagement. You know, I think what Bruce Pearl has done to create a basketball environment at a football school is unbelievable in Auburn. I think what Nate Oates has done to create a basketball environment at a football school is unbelievable. I think what Chris Beard did before he ended up getting his arrest and getting fired by Texas, to create a basketball environment at a football school at Texas and at Texas Tech, are two things that are really impressive. And you need a guy that is going to be able to do that and kind of put his face out there in the community and be able to get people interested. I think my first call would absolutely be Sean Miller. Without a question of a doubt, would be trying to get Sean Miller to leave Xavier and come to Ohio State. And if I'm Sean, the biggest question I have is, do I want to go to a place where it's going to take a lot of work to recreate the environment that I coach in at the Cintas Center when it comes to playing at I don't even know the name of Ohio State's building. That is going to be the biggest issue that I think he would have. Pass up on more NIL and pass up on playing in front of an incredible environment. That's a hard thing to do.
Hey, you just answered your own question. We don't even know the damn arena, and we talking about national championships. Cut it out. Get you
show some respect to the
Put some money behind it. Whoever you hire, put some damn money behind men's basketball, and then you can start talking about winning. And it's just, and all jokes aside, I agree. I think it's a job with the money that you get in the Big Ten that it could be a job like that. But we naming a handful of these guys that have done it at schools. It ain't a lot of them dudes out there. Put the money.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do, RC. It's hard to do that.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.